Okay, so here I am, coming out of my apartment on the 19th Street side. And now over here, we've got our car, right? And the other day it broke down. It had a fan belt that was loose or it was off. It's a simple procedure, but in Manhattan it's a disaster when your car breaks down. Everybody says try to get it repaired outside of Manhattan. So the next best thing to do would be to find someplace local. So I'm going to go on through my building again on 20th, just to give you an idea here of location. This is a building that was connected, 19th Street. Goes clear through to 20th Street. They took two buildings and put them together for the sake of getting benefit of part key ownership. Otherwise, I don't know if they would have bothered to connect these two buildings. So this is something you learn on the deed office because the address now of both buildings.
Thank you.
So here we are on 20th. The point here is when we break down, we want to find the place that's closest, right? So I look up on the internet, and I'll edit that in, and that's we're on 3rd Avenue here. And headed down to 2nd Avenue, and then and down there is where I often in the past used to do sunrise meditations and mantras. That's where 20th Street, we're on 1st Avenue, hits the water, East River. 19th, that's 19th Street. And I'm looking for 323.
Well, no, that side. This side?
There's 319. There's 321. There's 323. Where's the auto repair place? Whoa, where is it? So let me repeat that. Here I am at Peter Cooper Village on 1st Avenue and 19th, just like the map said. There's 19th. And when I was looking for the car repair place, I went into H&R Block. They never heard that there ever was an auto repair located right here. And over here is going to be 18th Street.
Paula, it's Lydia Reed, and I got your message on my cell about your fan belt. I tried calling Joe back on his cell phone, but the messages are full, so I'm going to leave a message for you. Unfortunately, I don't know anybody in and around Manhattan, and most of my connections for getting cost-effective, cheap mechanic work was down south. But I can tell you this, the economy is really bad. If your car can make it over the bridge or make it through the tunnel to Jersey, any mechanic, they might even happen in Manhattan, any mechanic will negotiate for a better price. So if you can get out a little bit, just get out of the greater New York, the Manhattan area. If you go one direction towards Long Island, I would stay on the South Shore, or if you just cross over the tunnel to Jersey City, any mechanic you talk to, they're all desperate for work, so you can negotiate. So, for example, I needed body work that was like $2,400, and ultimately I was just like, nah, and I kept driving down the block until finally I got somebody to do it for $300. So, they'll start really expensive, but if they see that you can walk away, or that you will walk away down 2 or 3 blocks to the next mechanic who will get the work, then you can usually negotiate a better price. So it's just barter with them. Just negotiate the price. The economy's so bad, the mechanics are all desperate for work. The only people who probably will give you a harder time are those in Manhattan. So if you just get out of the Manhattan Island, if your car can actually make it with a fan go, if it's broken, you have no choice. But if it's going, you might be able to drive 20 miles or so, either to Long Island or over the bridge over the tunnel to Jersey City. And I know in Jersey City, virtually any mechanic you go to will do it cheaper, and you can even...
To hear this message again, press 1. To save it, press...
So, there you go. Internet fraud.
Hi, Joe. I do recall 3rd Avenue around Houston. I think there's a mechanic, or in the Houston area between Broadway and 2nd Avenue is where a lot of mechanics are.
Here's a pretty good book. This is Ross Jackson. I know Ross Jackson. He owns a charity in Denmark, and he wants to come and have me interview him, which I'm interested in doing. But I'm trying to explain why economics is so important for people's well-being, and how do we explain to Ross Jackson about fraud, about internet fraud, about what happens when somebody can control knowledge. That's the most important thing. And the question is, how do we gain the knowledge that we need in order to have the life that we want? And so now I'm going to go to the police and tell them about the crime. Right? And I know that they're not going to let me take my camera into the police department, but we're on 21st Street between 2nd and 3rd. So this should be the jurisdiction for the crime. And let's see what they say. Could have been worse. He could have had me take away my camera. Are you police officers?
No, how can I help you?
What's that?
Yeah, how can I help you?
There's internet fraud going on. My car broke down and I wanted a car repair place in my area.
Mm-hmm.
So I called up.
You talked to the
He said there's nothing they can do.
Well, what do you mean by internet fraud,
But you didn't even hear the crime yet.
Tell us.
Okay, the crime is I called up and I said I wanted to make sure, and I said, are you the car repair place on 323 First Avenue? And they didn't answer, and I pressed them again, and they said, well, actually, they're on 38th. And I said, well, actually, no, thank you. I think I'll walk down to my neighborhood car repair place. And I thought, maybe I'd save them a referral on the internet, and get a lower price, right? Deal with local business. I go down there is no business. They're pretending that they have a location. Finally, I find a real repair shop,
right.
And he tells me that there's something called Toes R Us that's going around and wanting to get car repair shops kind of involved with them, and they're advertising for them. But that means whoever controls the search engines is going to control the traffic for car repairs, where they're going to be towed to. This is like a huge crime against small business when the economy is so bad and they're struggling.
Yeah, you have a choice where you want your car to go.
No, I understand, but if you Google in First Avenue car repair, you're just looking for something close. That's what shows up, a place that isn't there.
Well, you could follow that with Better Business Bureau. That's more of a civil.
Better Business Bureau.
Business Bureau.
Or even maybe the Department of Consumer Affairs.
Yeah, but you'll get a better thing with Better Business Bureau because they actually hire their own investigators and they'll put a rating on it as well.
Okay, I'll try that.
But
it's really a crime. It's impersonation and it's deception. And when I told the other car place that's a real place, They were
internet
upset.
for Wild Wild West. I mean,
Yeah,
it's very hard to control. That's one of the million things that are going out there. But I understand what you're
Yes,
saying.
the government's saying now.
Yeah.
They had a debate about that. They want freedom of speech. You have all these people opposing restrictions. But it's not restrictions. It's people like you saying.
Right.
You could easily be victimized, but it's like they want you to use your own common sense. There should be a restriction, but unfortunately there isn't.
Right.
You know, that's cool. That's under your...
Well, the common sense was me asking, are you located here?
Right. That was very good on your part.
Them stalling, but I had no idea that if I hoofed it down, that there would be no location where they
you know
said
what?
there was.
That's why you look on a Better Business Review, and you can see what the complaints, how many active complaints they have with them. That's why that's an excellent organization. You know, it's non-profit, and they do their own investigations to rate places like that.
Now, I heard that at this precinct they have meetings with the neighborhood once a month or so.
They do.
Every precinct does.
When is that?
It's the first Wednesday.
For this precinct?
Yeah, you can call the Community Affairs Officer, Detective Fanato.
And get involved in this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever make presentations there?
Do I?
Yeah, talk about what you want the community to know.
Commanding officer does.
Yeah, commanding officer.
Sometimes there's lieutenants that will guest speak, and then sometimes they bring people from the community to speak as well.
Okay, I'll see you guys
Good
later.
luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Paul and Joe. It's Judge Jim Gray. It's almost more than life is worth to try to find a telephone number to speak with somebody at the studio at Time Warner here in Costa Mesa. It's on Paularino. I have sent them an email, and who knows what will happen from that. But
First saved message received Wednesday, January 18th at 4:01 p.m.
Hello, messages for Paul Tisconis. This is Noel with Chase. Please return the call to 877-496-0474. Extension is 3824103. Please return the call as soon as possible. Thank you. Goodbye.
To hear message erased. Next message received Monday, January 23rd at 11:08 a.m.
Hello, messages for Paula Tisconis. This is Noel with Chase. Please follow up at 877-496-0474. Extension is 3824103. Please call us as soon as you can. Thank you. Goodbye.
Message erased.
Hi, Paul and Joe. It's Judge Jim Gray. It's almost more than life is worth to try to find a telephone number to speak with somebody at the studio at Time Warner here in Costa Mesa. It's on Paularino. I have sent them an email, and who knows what will happen from that. But I'm trying, and I have given them your telephone numbers as well. But at any rate, you might want to try and see if using your studio there, they could approach the one on Paularino in Costa Mesa, California. The zip code is 92626. So at any rate, we'll keep trying, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm calling you from 9.
You see that? That's the stuff that comes out of the rust in the pipes. And you would think that in a building like this, for all the money you pay for maintenance, $1,000 a month for this tiny little place, that, you would get things maintained. And yet, to change the pipes so they're not rusty, can't be done. And then you're supposed to handle everything in your apartment. The building's maintenance doesn't deal with it if it's outside. But here, they made this in such a schlocky way that this is embedded into the cement. So if we get the bankers off our neck, you can see where all the maintenance is going. It's not going to anything that's actually maintaining in this building. Or, excuse me, at least very little of it, relatively, is going to maintaining anything. This is what I'm cooking from the food pantry. We get potatoes there, and then I got this really nice turnip from Union Square at $1.60 a pound. And I want to clarify something here. Joe said, if you're not careful, the police are going to come in because this looks like cocaine. Now, why would I put cocaine here? And this will prove that this is not cocaine. unless there's some super use for cocaine that would necessitate using this much and in this way to clean a bottle. This is how I clean my bottles.